Hello, Judy from the Quilting Bee in Massillon, Ohio, and I am here as we begin what I think is block 6. I don't remember, and it doesn't tell on the sheet, but I think it's about 6. But anyway, this is what we're going to be working on this week. It's called Jack in the Box, and it really looks like a fairly friendly pattern. So I have my fingers crossed. We shall see and proceed along here. So that's our pattern. I have pulled some fabric. Of course, all of the blocks are calling for white. This, if you have been with me, is what I'm calling my common denominator. I'm trying to use it in all of the blocks to sort of tie my scrappiness together. I pulled this pretty green for the rectangular pieces. I thought it would be a pretty complement. This is going to be my center. And then for the little blocks in each corner, I'm going with a print and a complementary fabric. They show sort of a solid or a batik that's really just different values of the same color. I'm ready for a little life to this whole process. So I'm going to see how this turns out using a print. So those are my fabrics, and I'm also doing something a little different as far as cutting them this time. I have a Cricut maker here in Ohio, and although I have never used it to cut fabric, it's supposed to be able to do that, and I haven't used it for that before because normally we're cutting a full width of a fabric to get whichever pieces we need, and with a Cricut maker your fabric is just, I think 12 by 12 inches is what the mat will accommodate, so you'd be just switching 12 by 12 inch pieces all the time. But for this project, I think it will be great because I will be able to get the 4 or 6 or whatever the number is on that 12 by 12, and if I put in the accurate measurements, they should come out accurate, so I won't have any more of this whoops, it's an 1/8 of an inch shy or whatever it might be. I don't know, we'll see. So I'm going to try using the Cricut maker. I'm hoping it won't take me too long to figure out what to do so that we can be finished with this before the week is out. We'll see what happens. I will see you shortly. Stay tuned. And if you are watching this expecting the next installment of Jack in the Box, you may want to go right on to the next little video, because this instead is going to be a pity party. If I recall correctly, I was rather upbeat and optimistic about cutting my fabrics at the end of yesterday's session. So I turned off the camera and went over to my Cricut maker, turned it on, and pulled up Design Space, Cricut Design Space, which is where you tell the maker what you want it to do. And it couldn't load. It couldn't load because I needed to update. All right, so I hit update. It couldn't update because the update would communicate with the new Microsoft update that I, of course, didn't have. I don't sit here at that laptop all the time. So I did the Microsoft update. Went back to my Cricut Design Space, clicked update could not do that because my version was so old it couldn't communicate with the new Microsoft. So I would need to uninstall and reinstall Cricut Design Space. I don't know about you, but uninstall does not have friendly overtones to me. I try never to let go of anything that I think I'm going to want. But it was insistent, even though I went out and tried again. It said, no, 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 you have to uninstall. So I searched around, found where I do uninstall. Even my computer knew uninstall is not a good idea because 3 or 4 times it said to me, are you sure? And I thought, well, yeah, I'm sure. And I would click yes. And again, it would say, this is important. Are you sure? Are you certain? Yes, yes, yes. Well, with the final yes, I mean, it was gone like that. Didn't take any time at all to uninstall. So I now go to the website where I am to reinstall. After the 4th attempt, I finally got the Design Space up on my screen. Felt like a winner. Except the update, in someone's wisdom, had rearranged things, and I don't know what all they did, but nothing was where I thought it should be, which created some questions and some issues. Now, it used to be when you would buy something new, software, an appliance, whatever it might be, you would get a handy little thing called a user's manual. And with this user's manual, you could look at the table of contents and oftentimes find the area you needed to be. But more importantly, they had an index. And with that index, you could just take one word and find where that word was mentioned. And you had a pretty good chance of tracking down the problem that you were having. I'm not saying it's a problem with the software. I was having a problem. Well, we no longer have user manuals, but as my children are always prone to tell me, Mom, you can find the answer to anything on the internet. And I have been guilty of saying those words myself. I never will again. Because I now know if you don't know how to ask the question correctly, what you get back is not necessarily going to help you. So 3 hours later, I finally saved myself all this time by using my Cricut Maker, but I did end up with my cut pieces. All, I think there's only 17 or 18, 3 hours. Yep, I've had a real party with myself today. So I have my pieces all cut out and laid out, and I am pleased with my selection. I'm really going to like this, I think. You can see I went ahead and did my half square triangles. I have double checked the orientation. As Jenny says from Riley Blake in her video, they're all put together the same. It's just the orientation. You do a quarter turn. So I have double checked my orientations. I will do that again before I start sewing. And I'm going to now make my 4 blocks, my 4 corners, and then start putting my rows together. And remember, in the instructions it tells us we will press everything toward the centerpiece, toward the rectangles. So I'm going to do that, and sort of anxious to see how it turns out. So I hope you are doing one along with me and are just as pleased with your selections. Okay, I am back, and I have sewn my rows together, and now it's ready to seam. Let me see what. Yes, I've sewn my rows together, and now I will sew the rows to each other. I am pleased with the block as it's coming together. I'm going to use more prints, I think. I think subconsciously the samples they're showing on for each of the blocks are reading like solids. And so that's sort of, I think, maybe where I've been heading. But I like a little variety, a little spice to the thing. So we'll see if I can remember. But another thing, I tried very hard to, if you see, I have mine all rotating. They're all kiltered. But this one I tried very hard to get turned wrong. Caught it. So I'm going to try to remember in the future blocks to follow Cindy's hint that she gives you in in her video, which is to pin the two together at the seam. You're not pinning them together to show that they're matching, meeting each other. You're pinning them together to say, stitch here. So a good hint, a good little crutch to have to help you remember, and I'm going to try to remember that. So that's it for this one. I'm going to quickly sew my rows together and be right back. Oh, this has been a joy. I am so happy with it. Oh, maybe I sound surprised. I'm not always that happy with what I have done. But anyway, this is my Jack in the Box. Only took one day, and that may be a first, but I'm pleased, and I think this would be a pretty quilt. I am liking this. So notice I'm not saying anything negative about the half square triangles. No, move beyond that. Maybe there is hope. But anyway, this is my Jack in the Box. I would like to see your Jack in the Box too, if you'd like to post it, if you've gotten this far. So let's stay in touch. In the meantime, I will be back in Florida next Tuesdays, but we'll start on it together sometime Tuesday. We'll see how it goes. So anyway, see you next week. Again, Judy Latabo from the Quilting Bee in Massillon, Ohio. See you next time.